The teachings of Rabbi Ephraim Sprecher, Dean of Students at Diaspora Yeshiva on Mount Zion, Jerusalem.
This week's Parshat Behar, the very famous Rashi, God spoke to Moshe Behar Sinai about the laws of Shemitah. So Rashi asks, "My inyan Shemitah etzel Har Sinai." It's a expression in Hebrew, right? What does Shemitah got to do with Har Sinai? All the mitzvahs were given where? On Har Sinai. Doesn't say God spoke to Moshe Tefillin, Har Sinai. God spoke to Moshe, eat kosher, Har Sinai. Or eat matzah on Pesach night. It's obvious it's Har Sinai. So why was Shemitah singled out Har Sinai? Shemitah, Har Sinai. All the other mitzvahs are given Har Sinai. So Rashi says that Shemitah is a dugma l'chol Torah kula. If you want to capture the Har Sinai experience in one mitzvah, Shemitah sums up what it means to be a Har Sinai Jew. What does it mean to be a Har Sinai Jew, Rachmiel? Emunah b'tochen in Hashem. Somehow the mitzvah Shemitah captures that more than any other mitzvah. Why is that? Why is that? The Torah says by Shemitah, the entire year you can't work. You have to rest the whole year. So the farmer will say, "Ma nochal b'shona shviyit." What are we going to eat in the seventh year? We didn't work, we didn't plant, we didn't collect the wheat. What are we going to eat? How are we going to live for a whole year? So God said, "I will command my blessing, and you'll give you a bumper crop. You'll have enough food 6, 7, and 8." That's what the Torah says. Shemitah is the proof, the Har Sinai experience, that no human being could make that promise. Could Moshe Rabbeinu, they say Moshe wrote the Torah, could a human being make a promise? No, thank you. Could a human being make a promise like that? He'd be laughed out of town. Don't worry, observe Shemitah, I'll give you enough food to eat 6th, 7th, and 8th year. He'd be run out of town. Shemitah, Avi, more than any other mitzvah, proves that what? The Har Sinai, God gave the Torah. Because no human could make a claim like that. How are you going to get through the 7th year? We're not working? Don't worry. I'll give you enough food 6, 7, and 8. So Shemitah, more than any other mitzvah, proves the Har Sinai experience.
At least out of the 5th year, then, isn't it?
And therefore, Har Sinai is associated with Shemitah. It captures the Har Sinai experience more than any other mitzvah. That's one explanation why Shemitah is the Har Sinai experience more. Emunah b'tochen Hashem and other mitzvahs. Another explanation is, other mitzvahs are either, the 10 Commandments, one side chava is between man and God, and the other side is between what? Man and man. So all the mitzvot are either or. They're either between man and man or between man and God. Shemitah is the only mitzvah where it says Shabbat Lashem, Shabbos Lachem. Shemitah is the only mitzvah Avram Tzatufer. It's ben Adam Lamakom and Adam Lechaveroi. It's both. The classic ben Adam Lamakom. To put your trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that He won't let you starve. It's the ultimate mitzvah between man and God. Trust me. Trust me. Who said that? Right? In God we trust, all others pay cash. Who said that? And it's also the ultimate lechem, Rav Nachum. Open up your field an entire year. The field is hefker. There's no poor person, rich person. Everybody, Avram, is what? Equal. Isn't that the ultimate Odom Lechaveroi? With the Ponderosa owner, Ben Cartwright, and the lowly worker is all the same. It's the ultimate Shabbos Lashem, and it's the ultimate Shabbos Lachem, where the ultimate act of chesed, where you open up your field for an entire year, and the field, Avram, is what? Hefker. It's ownerless. Anyone can come and what? And take. Isn't that the ultimate Odom Lechaveroi? It's also ultimate Odom Lamakom that Hashem said, "Trust me, I won't let you down." So therefore, Shemitah captures what it means to be a Har Sinai Jew, the ultimate between man, and the ultimate between what? Man and God. Shemitah. The word Shemitah means to release, Avram. Please release me. Release my ownership of the land. Let go. Shemitah is the ultimate reality check, Rab Chanoch. The land belongs to me. I'm the boss. It's mine. Reality check. God says the world belongs to me. And therefore, once in 7 years, let go, because it's not really yours. Rashi said you shouldn't feel bad that the poor people are traipsing in your field. It's not yours. Hashem said it's mine. Shemitah, I want to call it, Chava, the ultimate reality check. Now, the Torah opens up. Speak to the Jewish people, when you come to the land of Israel, you shall observe Shemitah, and then you shall work 6 years. 6 years you shall work and plant and harvest. Chava, it should be reversed. What do you do first? First there's the 6 years of work, and then the Shemitah. Why does the Torah reverse the order? The Torah says when you come to the land of Israel, the land shall rest. That's the 7th year. And then 6 years you shall work. Should be Moshe Kapaya. First you should work 6 years, and the 7th years you shall rest. Why did the Torah state, first you shall what? Rest the 7th year, and then work the 6 years. It should be the other way around. Why does the Torah reverse the order? You hear the question? 6 years you shall work the field and observe Shemitah. Why start off Shemitah and then 6 years, Rabbi Avram? It's Moshe Kapoy. Setach Sam Sofer. You're sitting down. Sam Sofer is very Haredi. He says, just like there's a mitzvah to observe Shemitah, there's a mitzvah to work the land of Israel 6 years. So first it starts out with the mitzvah of Shemitah. That's a mitzvah. And just like the mitzvah to observe Shemitah, there's also the same mitzvah to what? Work Pisgat Zev, Kiyat Moshe 6 years. And therefore Rav Kook Zatzal was so appreciative to the kibbutznik, even though they weren't religious. They were doing a mitzvah 24/7 without even knowing it. What mitzvah were they doing? Sheish Shalom Tizra Sadecha, V'Sheish Shalom Tizra Karmecha. Working the land of Israel is a mitzvah, just like observing what? Shemitah. Sam Sofer said, he was very Haredi. You're getting this, Chava? Therefore, Rav Kook loved the pioneers so much. Even though they weren't religious, they were doing a mitzvah 24/7 by working the land of Israel. Yes?
I don't understand how that answers the question.
He says, Shemitah is a mitzvah, right?
But that's what we did first.
Shemitah is a mitzvah. And just like there's a mitzvah to observe Shemitah, there's also a mitzvah to observe the 6 years of working the land. So even though first you had to work 6 years and then observe Shemitah, but the Torah starts off with Shemitah, because everybody knows that Shemitah is a mitzvah. So the Torah is saying, says the Chassam Sofer, Shemitah is a mitzvah, right? 6 years working the land is also a mitzvah. And therefore, Megillat Ruth, we're going to read very shortly, Miriam, tells us that the chief rabbi of Israel at the time, Boaz, he was a shofet, chief rabbi, he has a nice seat in Heichal Shlomo there, right? Busy, teaching, and he left his fancy office, Avram, and he went to the field to winnow. I need to know that 3,000 years ago, Boaz, the chief rabbi in Shofet, left his fancy office, and he went to he has nothing better to do. Didn't he have a lot? He had a lot of workers, like Ben Cartwright. He was a rich man, many workers. But the Navi makes a point, the Megillat Ruth, that he left his duties as the chief rabbi Shofet, probably very busy, and the Navi makes a point of telling me, Avram, he went out into the field to winnow. Why does the Navi tell me that? Tanakh, Miriam, is not a history book, it's GPS, Chassam Sofer, again to prove that what? That working the land of Israel is a mitzvah. So the chief rabbi himself took off his kapota and his black hat, he rolled up his sleeves, and he what? He went to winnow. Look at Megillat Ruth. I need to know that 3,000 years later. So Shemitah is the ultimate chesed ben Adam lechaveira and the ultimate ben Adam lamakoim, and therefore it sums up the Har Sinai experience, because it's the mitzvah that what? It's a double header. It's both. The ultimate chesed to the fellow Jew, and the ultimate chesed to God. You trust Him completely. Close up my shop of Him for a year. How are we going to survive? God says, I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. Pretty incredible, right? Then the Torah goes on. The Torah goes on, and makes an amazing, this week's Parsha, Avram, I don't know how they learned this Parsha outside of Eretz Yisrael. In the Yikra 25:38, Avi, we don't have the books, it's too late to get them. Chaval, you look. God, Rashi quotes in this week's Parsha, God says, I'm Hashem your God, when you live in the land of Eretz Yisrael. Says Rashi, Kol adar be'Eretz Yisrael, ani lo Elokim, v'chol hayotze mimenu k'oved avodah zarah. God says, I am Hashem your God, when you live in the land of Israel. The Yikra 25, verse 38, Rashi quotes the Gemara in Ksuvas, page 110, that when you live in Eretz Yisrael, God says, I'm your God. But never, if you're in Chutz La'aretz, it's ki'ilu oved avodah zarah, ad kedei kach. So they must skip this Rashi in Lakewood. What?
Why doesn't it say that in the plural? Why is it in the singular?
I don't know. Yeah, that's the way the Torah writes it. But anyway, this is what the Torah is teaching us over here, that to live in the land of Israel is the greatest of all mitzvot. If you look at the Haftorah that we're going to read this Shabbos Chaval, if you didn't have it's too late to get the books, right, Avi? Do you mind getting them, or it's... Yeah, you know where they are. I'm saying, I'm sorry to bother. It's Kedai to, just for this verse alone, it's in the library. I think there are 5 of them. God is speaking to Yirmiyahu. Where's Yirmiyahu? He's in jail. Hashem comes to visit him. So you should say, get me out of here, buddy. But he doesn't say that. He doesn't say that. He's in the Chatzar HaMatara. Why is he in jail, Avram? Political prisoner. Rav Kahana always felt that he's a Gilgal of Yirmiyahu. Both of them were Kohanim. Both of them were persecuted, arrested by their own people, beaten by their own people, and both wound up being martyrs. Rav Kahana always felt, Bedish, that he is a Gilgal of Yirmiyahu. But anyway, Yirmiyahu was also a Kohen, and he suffered terribly. He was in dungeon, a political prisoner, because they didn't want to hear, the government didn't want to hear what he had to say, right? He spoke the truth. Wake up! Who are you making peace with? Who's your peace partners? Nothing has changed in 2,700 years. So Hashem comes to visit him in jail. And he doesn't say to Hashem, Yehuda, he should say, get me out of here. No, he doesn't say that. So Hashem is coming, and Hashem is telling him to what? To redeem a piece of property that ties him with the Parsha. He has a piece of property in Anatot. Where's Anatot? Next to Pisgat Zev, the place is still called Anatot. Right? It's still called Anatot.
Oh, that's right.
The village next to Pisgat Zev, Avram. It's amazing. There's one Jewish family there, all surrounded by Arabs. And thank you, Avi. And for some amazing reason that the Jewish family lives there. Thank you. You're at Tzaddik, Avi. Let's look at the Haftorah. It paid for Avi. Thank you, Avi. I'm not going to tell you to you. It paid just to look at this Haftorah, Avram, current events in the Parsha. Now hear this. I don't want you to think that I'm making this up. Hi. So I want to show you this. I don't want to show you that I'm making this up. Jeremiah 32, the Haftorah that we read this coming Shabbos. What does Hashem tell him in verse 15, Avram? Can you read it in English?
So said Hashem, Master of Legions, God of Israel, houses, fields, and vineyards will yet be brought into this land.
What? You see that? We are living this prophecy. Houses, vineyards, and fields will yet be what? Bought and sold in this land, even though the enemy's at the gate, the Babylonians are at the gate, and there's coming destruction. And yet what? Hashem tells Yirmiyahu, don't worry. There will be a rejuvenation in this land. You don't think he's talking about our times? You don't think so, Malka? He's talking about our times? Now if you read verse 20 very carefully. Verse 20.
Who placed signs and wonders in the land of Egypt that are known until this day upon Israel as upon man, and you made yourself a reputation like this very day.
Today. What is he saying today twice? Avram, I think this Parsha is always read right before the 6th day, right before Yom Yerushalayim. Just like the miracles and wonders in the land of Egypt, so today, when is today? The founding of the state of Israel, says Yirmiyahu, is a miracle as what? As the Exodus in Egypt. I'm not making this up. If you read verse 20 very slowly, Asher samta osas amos Mitzrayim ad hayom hazeh. You did marvelous signs and wonders to get the Exodus from Egypt. V'tasach Hashem kayom hazeh. And even today, you're also doing marvelous signs and wonders. When is today, Avram? This parsha is always read right before Yom Yerushalayim al Kalinki Dinky. I don't think so. So Yirmiyahu is comparing the wonders of the Exodus from Egypt to the wondrous miracles of what? Of the 6-day war. Now, isn't that amazing, Avraham? You're not looking in. Chaval. If we read, we think it's ancient history. It's mamish current events. That this parsha is always read shortly before Yom Yerushalayim, comparing the great miracles of the Exodus to the modern day miracles of the founding of the state of Israel, and especially the 6-day war.
What verse is this again?
Verse 20. Verse 20. Now, if you read verse 22 slowly, you'll see that there's a problem with verse 22. Can you read that slowly?
And you gave them this land that you swore to their forefathers to give them, a land flowing with milk and honey.
It should say, you swore to the fathers to give, lo says lechem, to give you. Hakman says lohem. Chav, you see verse 22 slowly, you don't see a problem there? What does dead people need real estate for? Read the verse very slowly. To give them their land, you swore to their fathers to give them the land of milk and honey. But the fathers are long dead, Abraham. It should have said, lo seis lochem, to give you, Pisgat Zev. What do you mean, give them? The dead fathers need Pisgat Zev. So the Talmud learns from here, Tchiat HaMeitim. Tchiat HaMeitim, Jeremiah was a prophet.
Right now.
Yes, the others are dead now, but the Tchiat HaMeitim, and God will give them Kiryat Moshe, or Pisgat Zev, or Ramot. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, okay.
Otherwise, it should say Lo Seis Lochem, but it says Lo Seis Lohem.
So all the generations then.
Tchiat HaMeitim, yeah? Isn't that amazing? Miriam, wow. A land flowing, Avra, with milk and honey, right? Verse 22? Every Jew with 22. A land flowing with milk and honey, right? This verse is used dozens of times in Tanakh. Not once does it say a land with tapuzim and rimonim. What's wrong with tapuzim, avi, and rimonim? You don't like oranges and grapefruits here? Or what's rimonim? Yeah. Why dafka a land flowing with milk and honey? Over and over again. Not tapuzim. How do you say eshkoliot? Delicious grapefruits here. Rimonim. So look at this amazing prophecy here of milk and honey. Why dafka that? Not oranges or grapefruits or... So it's just amazing, Abraham, where Uncle Google comes and tells us why. If you Google it, they did a survey. What's her name on Google? Samantha. Samantha, the Israeli cow gives more milk per cow than any cow in the world. They did a survey.
Google admitted that?
Yeah, the Israeli cow gives more milk per cow than any cow in the world. The Israeli date palm tree gives more date honey per tree than what? Than any tree on planet Earth. Now, tapuzim and rimonim, avi in eshkoliot, maybe you have as good and as plentiful as in San Diego. So the Torah only uses the metaphor of milk and honey because that's unique to Israel. Milk per cow and date honey per tree is tops in Eretz Yisrael. How did God know that 3,330 years ago? And therefore, it doesn't say tapuzim or rimonim, because there you might have more where? In sunny California. But chalav udvash, we are number one. How would God know that, Abraham, 3,330 years ago? Right. Uncle Google comes to the rescue. Now you know, a cow goes moo, but an Israeli cow goes no. Right? Israeli cow. Pretty amazing, huh? But Avram, just amazing, milk and honey over and over again, milk and honey, not once oranges or grapefruits. But this is just amazing. So without Google, we wouldn't know how true Miriam, we wouldn't know how true Chanoch. Are you getting this? I mean, all of these high-tech inventions proves the divinity of the Torah. How would God know that 3,300 years ago?
He created it.
Chalav Advash, the Israeli cow, an Israeli date palm tree. Yes.
I think you once gave a religious reason also. You said that way you think it might be Aver Minachai, right?
So that's another explanation. There, the Gemara asked in Choros, page 6, Rabbeinish, how you allowed to have a milkshake? It's Aver Minachai.
What's it from?
Aver Malka doesn't mean just Aver. You're not allowed to eat anything, Reb Nachum, from a living animal. How you allowed to have a milkshake? Elsie the cow is still alive. The Gemara Choros asked that question. So the Gemara says you're right. No, that's something else. That's because we're talking about date honey here. Talking about date honey. So the Gemara answers you're right, that it should be. But since the Torah uses milk as a metaphor for Eretz Yisrael, that's a sign that milk is what?
Not ever Minachai.
Not even though it should be.
Why should it be?
Tosfot and Chulin asked, how you allowed to have scrambled eggs? The chicken is still alive.
What's the answer?
The answer is, there's a mitzvah in Torah, Shluach HaKen. Some say Shluach HaKan, some say Shluach HaKen. There's a mitzvah to shoo away the mother bird and take the eggs. How could the Torah tell you to take the eggs? So the Torah is giving you a heter to eat eggs, even though it should be Evim and Achai. So there's rules, and every rule of Chanoch has what? To enjoy your scrambled eggs and your milkshake. They should be osir, but the Torah gives me a special heter. Okay? And while we're on the topic, why is there a mitzvah to eat, not a mitzvah, why is there a minhag to eat milky products on Shavuos? Are you sitting down? You're sitting down, right? Why is there a why is there a minhag to eat milky products on cheesecake on Shavuos? I know why, because it tastes good. Said the Chatam Sofer. You sitting down? Said the Chatam Sofer, Miriam. According to Gemara B'chorot, page 6, milk should be Evim Minachai. But when the Torah was given and we heard God use milk as a metaphor for Pisgat Zev, it gave me a heter to what?
Drink milk.
Otherwise, the Torah wouldn't use a metaphor for Israel with a food that's not kosher. When did we hear the pasuk, a land flowing with milk and honey? Shavuos morning. So according to some Sprecher, before that, we could not eat milky products.
So
It was an Evim and Achai. So the first time we got a heter to eat milk was when? When?
Shavuos.
Therefore, there's a minhag to eat milky products on Shavuos. Are you getting this? Chasam Sofer. Every minhag in Judaism, Chanoch is precious.
I have a question.
Before that, we couldn't eat milk. Keep the 7, go to heaven. Evim and Achai. Avram, you getting this? But the first time we got the heter to drink milk was when we got the Torah.
Wow.
So therefore, to commemorate the first time that we drank milk, we eat milky products on the day we got the heter, which is Shavuos. So some Sprecher asked about himself, how could Abraham give the malachim milk and butter?
That's right.
He asked that.
Right.
So he says, look at the sequence. He says, first he shechted the behema, and then he took out the milk and butter. Because otherwise we ate them in a chai. The first time we got a heter to eat milk from a living animal was Shavuos morning. You look at the sequence of the events. Abraham first slaughtered the cow, and then he gave them the milk. Otherwise, it would be Evim and Achai.
We didn't learn yet how to...
That's another explanation, right? But this is the Chassam Sofer's explanation of why there's a minhag to eat dairy products on... Chassam Sofer goes even further. Every Jewish minhag, he said there's a minhag to have cheese blintzes. Chassam Sofer, I think he passed away in 1839, Abraham. He said there's a minhag to have cheese blintzes. Not just the cheese, but blintzes. He's sitting down and he asks him why. What is a blintz made out of?
Cheese.
Eggs.
Eggs and cheese.
He says you couldn't eat eggs either before. Evim and Achai, according to Tosfos and Chulin, The first time we got a heter to eat eggs was Matan Torah, when Hashem said, send away the mother bird and what? Take the eggs. So before that, you couldn't have eggs either. So therefore, there's a minhag to eat cheese blintzes on Shavuos. The cheese is the milky, and the blintz is the eggs, to commemorate the first time we're able to eat eggs and milk. And therefore, says some Sprecher, there's a minhag to have cheese blintzes on Shavuos. Isn't that incredible? Are you getting this? Before that, it would be Osir as Evim and Achai. That's pretty amazing, don't you think?
Yeah.
Huh? I think so. Anyway,
But what were people eating?
first they had to kill the chicken and take out the eggs, or slaughter the cow and take the milk, like Abraham did by the
In the
Malachim.
desert, in the Midbar.
The midbar had man. They had man, right? Therefore, it's called Monday. Monday. Let's take a look at the book of Ruth. We're going to read it very soon, Avram. Who wrote the book of Ruth? What page would that be? What page would that be, Avi? Somewhere in the back of the book.
Page 1269.
1269. Ruth's Field of Dreams, Abraham. What's the message of the book of Ruth? To be a Ruth person, but not to be a ruthless person. Oh. To be a chesed person. That's why you read the book of Ruth on Shavuos. Shavuos is all about Matan Torah. What's the way to get to the Torah, Avram? To be a chesed. How do I know that? The Torah opens up with chesed and closes with chesed. How does the Torah open up?
Creation of the world.
God creates the world and He clothes Adam and Chava. Right? How does the Torah close? God buries Moshe Rabbeinu. So the Torah is all about doing chesed for the Zulat. And that's what Ruth teaches. So if you want to be a Matan Torah person, you got to read what? To be a Ruth person and not to be a ruthless person. Pretty amazing, huh? That's pretty amazing. What would you say that? Ruth. Where did she find herself? She was a princess in Moab. Do you know that? And she became a beggar woman in the fields of Eretz Yisrael. Where do we choose to fulfill our dreams, Avraham? Where? In Moab, Chas v'Shalom, in Las Vegas, or in the fields of Pisgat Zev? We have to decide. We have to decide. That's pretty amazing. There's a very strange verse in the book of Ruth. Many strange verses over here. If you look at chapter 2, from chapter 2, Pasuk 19. A little background music. Ruth and her mother-in-law are destitute. So Ruth goes collecting in the fields. The English word leket. The Hebrew word leket, Yehuda, leket. There's a mitzvah to leave over the... Leket comes from the English word collecting. Comes from leket. The poor people are allowed to collect the leket. Get it? Collect the leket? So she comes back with a lot of... She hit the jackpot. Because Boaz was dropping stuff purposely for her. So she came back with a bonanza. Look at verse 19 very carefully, Avram. Can you read that slowly? Seems to be a typo there. Chas v'sholom. Anybody want to take a crack at it, Reb Nachman? Verse 19. She comes back with all of this food, and her mother-in-law says to her, anybody?
Where did you glean today?
Well, from the beginning. Her mother-in-law says to her, verse 19.
Where did you glean today? Her mother-in-law asked her, where did you work? May the one that took such generous notice of you be blessed.
Give me the name of the guy that gave you all of this food.
So she told her mother-in-law, whom she had worked by, and said, the name of the man by whom I work today is Boaz.
No, it doesn't say that. It says, Shem o ish asher siti imo. That's why you have to know Hebrew. The name, who is the name of the guy that did all of this chesed for you? She says, the name of the man that I did chesed for him today, his name is what? Boaz. So nobody said to her, girl, you've been out in the sun too long. You didn't wear a hat. You've been gleaning in the hot sun. Girl, take a pill and lie down. I asked you, give me the name of the man that did all of this chesed for you. She says, Shem ish asesiti imo chesed hayom Boaz. The name of the man that I did chesed for him, his name is Boaz. Who did chesed for whom?
Oh.
So what does the Talmud say from here? What did Ruth teach us? Much more than the rich guy gives to the poor person what?
Yes, the rich guy.
Why? Because the food that she got, the check that he wrote, will be eaten up and used up in no time. But the chesed, the mitzvah that the rich guy got by giving the donation, that doesn't get used up. That goes on and on, on and on, on and on. The next time you give a check to a poor person, what should you tell him?
Thank you.
Thank you for what? For taking it. That's the Jewish attitude to chesed. Who taught us that? A pagan Moabite. A pagan Moabite taught us that. Look what a person can make of herself. From becoming a go-go dancer in Las Vegas to becoming the great, righteous, modest grandmother of the Mashiach.
Whoa.
That's what a leap. I mean, Judaism teaches that no one can say I was born, Chava, on the wrong side of the tracks. Who could say that more than whom? Ruth. But she said, I'm not going to let that get me down. I'm going to become the best person that I could come.
Wow.
Because she realized that more than the rich guy gives to the poor guy gives to the rich guy. Because the matana will be used up, the gift. But the mitzvah that the rich guy receives, that's his forever. So you can't take it with you, despite what Jack Benny said. If I can't take it with you, I'm not going.
Yeah.
But Ruth said you can. You do a chesed for another person, you take that mitzvah with you to Olam Haba. That's pretty amazing. Now, if you take a look at verse 4, Boaz was a very wealthy man, right, Chava? Remember Ben Cartwright, the Ponderosa? He had a huge field, many workers. So he's coming to check on the workers, right? What is it, verse 4?
What chapter?
It's the same chapter, I think. It's chapter 2, verse 4. What does he say there?
Behold, Boaz arrived from Bethlehem. He greeted the harvesters. Hashem be with you. And the answering, may Hashem bless you.
Now, I need to know what he said to the workers 3,000 years ago, Rachmiel. Is that important? Chanoch, GPS. What is the pasuk teaching me over here?
Speak kindly to your brother.
Oh, says the Gemara Brachas 54. Boaz was metakein to greet each other with God's name. Did he say, you workers, get back to work? What are you goofing off? Too many coffee breaks. He said, Hashem imachem. God is with you, or God be with you. The English word goodbye, Avraham. English word goodbye.
Means what?
God be with you.
That
Comes from here, according to King James Version. But he said, Hashem imachem. So King James said, God be with you. Goodbye is short for that. You knew that, no?
No, I never knew that.
Good thing you came today.
Whoa.
So that's how you talk to your workers, or get back to work, you're goofing off too much.
Wow.
So Boaz was metakein that we should greet each other with Hashem's name. And therefore we say Shalom Aleichem, it's God's name. You can't say that in the Schwitz. You can't say that in the bathroom. Shalom. If you go to the mikvah with your friend Shalom, right, you can't say his name in the mikvah. You say, hey you can't say Shalom. You can't say. So Boaz is the one, Hashem imachem. And how did they return the greeting? Yirechecha Hashem. So he was the father of Tikkun Olam. Boaz. That's pretty amazing. What is Tikkun Olam? How to speak to people. Even though they're covered with sweat and grime.
Gratitude.
Right? To appreciate Kavod Habriot, even a lowly bimbo worker. God is with you. You're not just a dishwasher or a toilet cleaner. Hashem imachem. You have a godly soul behind the sweat and the grime. Who saw that? Boaz. Now you know Boaz, Ruth, the grandparents of Mashiach. They taught us to give dignity and kavod to every human being, to see the godly image in every person. No matter if you're down and out on your luck, Hashem is always with you. If you can express that, you deserve to be the grandpa of the Mashiach and the grandma of the Mashiach, to see the good and the divine image in every person, no matter how low on the social stratus. What's the social strata?
What about murders and terrorists?
Talking about fellow Jews here, right? We're talking about fellow Jews over here that are down and out, or any decent human being that's down and out, right? You have to see the good in every person. Not talking about a murderer or killer. Habal lahagacha hashkem lahargo. Right? What does Judaism teach, Avram? Turn the other cheek?
No.
That's a wrong religion.
Protect yourself.
Judaism teaches habal lahargacha hashkem lahargo. If someone is out to get you, Abraham, get up and what?
Down first.
Get him first. Right? But that's to see the tzelem lakim in every person, if he's not a murderer or a terrorist. What a powerful message. This little book, the book of what? The book of Ruth. Now, why was she called Ruth, Chava? From the word reut. What does reut mean? Friendship. Ain't it good to know you got a friend? They got. So the Talmud says she was called Ruth because she was reut. Wasn't she a friend to whom? To Naomi? And to Boaz and to God? Ruth from the word reut. Now, who's good in math, Avram? I know you're good in math. Ruth is gematria how much? Anybody good in math here? Reish is how much? 200.
600 what?
6. Reish is 200. Vav is 6. Tov is 400. How much is that?
606.
606.
Why? Because when she converted to Judaism, she got 606 mitzvahs.
Whoa.
She already had the 7. She already had the 7. Keep the 7. Go to heaven. So when she became a Jew, she got how many mitzvahs?
606.
Ruth.
Wow.
You getting this? 606. You already have the 7. Avia, you tell your father this? I think right.
Yeah.
That's what she was called, Ruth. It's gematria 606, says the Midrash, because as a non-Jew, she already had the 7 Noachide laws. So when she became Jewish, she got another 606.
Wow.
That's pretty amazing. So in Chag Matan Torah, we read a book about converts. Avram, right?
Yeah.
Ruth. And Matan Torah itself, the parsha of the 10 Commandments and giving the Torah, is named after Yitro. He's also a convert.
Right.
Isn't that strange?
We're all
The main event
we're all
is named after a parsha in the Torah after Yisro. Why not parsha Moshe Rabbeinu?
We're all converts.
We all converts?
Avram's called the.
Nobody was Jewish until Moses.
Yeah.
He was across the river. He was.
But why name a parsha after a convert, Yitro? And why read a book about converts on Chag Matan Torah, Ruth? What do you think the message is? I think the message is, don't be satisfied by being an FFH. From habit. Aspire to be, don't be happy just being a Jew by birth. Aspire to be a Jew by choice. Yisroi and Ruth, were they a Jew by birth?
No.
They were a Jew by choice. We should aspire to that. Don't be satisfied, Miriam, just being a Jew by birth. Aspire to be a Jew by choice. Have that excitement, that enthusiasm that a Jew by choice has. Who's the role model? Ruth and Yisro. Ruth and Yisro. Pashas Yisro. Jethro.
I know.
Right, Avram?
So why didn't he come back with us?
Oh, so now Chav is begging the question. Beg. We name our kids Ruth, but we don't name our kids Yisro. Isn't that strange? The 2 classic righteous Gentiles who became what? Ger Tzedek. So why do we name our kids Ruth but we don't name our kids Yisro. You ever hear Yisro?
Because Yisrael
No.
left and did his own thing.
You know what Malka said?
He wouldn't stay with the cloud.
Oh, Malka's
Stepped
ahead
out
of
the
me.
Klal Yisrael. Stepped out.
You know what Naomi said to Ruth? Here, read the text. You could become a Jewish, you can go back to Las Vegas, right? She said, no. To be a loyal, faithful Jew, I must come with you to Pisgat Zev. What did Yisro say? I'm going back to Midian. I could be a frum Jew in Borough Park too. So Rav Soloveitchik points out, who was watching him? You know, right after Parshas Behar, where Moshe pleads with Yisro, please come with us to Ramot, to Kiryat Moshe, please don't leave us, please don't leave us. He says, no, I'm going back. Be a good Jew in Chutz La'aretz. Right after that is the Parsha, the Meraglim. We know when the two Parshas in the Torah next door, Avram, there has to be what?
Connection.
What is the Parsha of Baloscha, where Yisro rejects Moshe's pleas to come to Eretz Yisrael and says, I can be a frum Jew where? In Borough Park. And right after that, the Chet HaMeraglim. Yehuda, why is it next door? You sitting down? Yisro was a great man. He has a Parsha in the Torah named after him. Who was watching him?
Everybody.
The Meraglim. They're chief rabbis, each Meraglim, chief rabbi. Yisro, the great role model of the Jewish people, the great Ger, who has a Parsha in the Torah named after him. He says you could be a frum Jew where? In Chutz La'aretz. Then why do we have to go to Israel for? We could be a frum Jew in Mitzrayim or in the Midbar. A great person has to look around before he does anything. People are watching you. Eize chacham aroyat hanolad, Avram. Eize chacham aroyat hanolad. Yes, so what are you talking about? Said Vasavi. What are you talking about? People are watching you. You're the role model. The Meraglim, not the Erev Rav. The Meraglim. You could be a loyal, faithful Jew in Chutz La'aretz. Then why can't we remain in the Midbar? Or go back to what? Cairo? That's what they said. Who put that bee in the bonnet? Who? Yitro. And therefore the Parsha of Yitro, refusing Israel, is next door to the Parsha of what? The Meraglim.
Whoa.
Isn't that amazing?
He influenced them.
That's right. Even though he didn't mean it. He says, no, I have to go back and be with my family. But when a VIP does something, people are always, Yehuda, what? Watching him. Be careful. And therefore we name our kids Ruth, but we do not name our kids after the other great convert, Yisro. Isn't that amazing?
For more of Rabbi Sprecher's teachings, visit rabbisprecher.com.